Hey guys, thanks for checking in again. We're gonna start with our feet, step them about hip distance apart, raise to the balls, and come back down and flex. Feel how your weight shifts forward as you raise the heels and back, sort of a little bit through the middle as you raise the tops of the feet toward you. Just kind of feel it shift back and forth. And then now we're gonna anchor our feet down. Now continue with that sort of shifting back and forth, keeping your feet anchored. Just kind of coming through center. Notice we can pitch forward farther than when we go back. And then bring yourself to the center. Now keeping your feet anchored, we're just gonna sway side to side a little bit. So keep your legs straight, just feel the weight shift. And then you'll feel it differently on the inside and the outside edges of the feet. Maybe from one foot to the other, keeping both anchored. And then we're gonna come back to center. Okay, so now we're gonna raise the heel of one foot and then lower and lift. Keeping our cores engaged, standing tall. And then stay up on the ball and do a little side rock. Back to center and then over the top for a stretch. Okay, and then let's switch. So we anchor both feet, feel that center position, and then lift and lower the other heel. Leave it up, do a little roll. Okay, then back to center. Bring it over for the stretch. And then bring it down. Okay, we're gonna work on the toes a little bit. I like to step a little wider for that, keeping my balance, and then lift the toes up, spread them out. Let's go little toes first today. So we're gonna stretch them way out and tap. Tap and lift. And then press those down. Bring them all up, take them all down. Squeeze your mat, release, lift, spread them out, and then we're gonna tap and lift the bigs. Press the big toes down. Lift them all up, take them down, squeeze the floor again, and then release. Okay, standing tall, we're gonna let our chins come toward our head, our chests, stretching the backs of our necks, and then raise faces back up. I don't know why I had my hands on my hips. Let your arms be down at your sides, and then stretch into the back of the neck, maybe starting to work in the top, into the top part of the shoulders a little bit, and then lift. So we're not forcing the chins toward the chest. We're just letting the heads be kind of heavy. Trying not to let our bodies round forward yet. We can do that in a minute, but just not quite yet. Work on lengthening the back of the neck. Lift. We're gonna go one more time. Let your head stay forward and then let it sway side to side. So the rest of the body stays still. Letting your head be heavy. Let's bring it back to center and raise up, roll the shoulders. Okay, arms stay at our sides. We're stretching into the back of the neck again and then rounding down. Bending our spines. Go to your end range, just a little pause there. Now move your hands, place them on your shins, and then lift the chest up. Lengthen your back. So think of a nice long diagonal line. And then we're gonna bring our chins toward our chest, let the heads be heavy, and roll down again. We're gonna hang here at the bottom. Hands to shins again. Chest lift up, long spine. Feel your tailbone lift. Maybe feel those hammies stretch a little bit. Chin a little toward the chest. And down, hang. We're gonna go one more like that. Hands to the shins. Lift the chest up. Lift the tailbone. Move your shoulders back. Lift your face up. Chin comes toward the chest and round down. Hang here for a sec. Lift your belly. Start to round your back. Don't roll up yet. Just get as much rounding as you can, like when we're doing the cat-cow sequence, right? So feet are anchored, hands are either on the mat, you can put them on your legs, or you can just let them hang, but round that spine, and then start to roll up. Legs stay nice and strong. And then we're gonna come up tall and roll the shoulders. Okay, we're going for a roll down into plank, and I've got my timer, so we're gonna go for a minute today. We're gonna add in some knee taps, possibly some leg extensions. We'll see where that goes. So move to the back edge of your mat and then lift up tall. So feel your feet anchor into the mat, right? So you can do a little shift and just feel your weight transition from one foot to the other or forward and back. And just wherever that is for you. Find your center where you've got equal weight into both feet. We're going to squeeze our legs, squeeze the glutes, raise the arms up, and then we're going to lengthen our spines and round down from here. So lift the belly, and then we take it down. I'm feeling my feet squeeze my mat because I'm trying not to wobble. So pull in, bend the spine. Find your end range. Take your hands to the mat. It's okay if that means bending your knees. And then we're going out into our plank. Elbows and forearms or long arms. That's up to you. Okay, I'm starting the timer. Here are some options. I'm going to do some knee taps. So I'm going to let one knee bend and just lightly touch, then straighten, and then touch and straighten. So I'm alternating knees. I'm pressing into my mat, trying not to sink down toward the floor. And then one more each side. Recenter. If you want to try this, stay in plank or stretch your left leg and lift it up and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down, reset. Right leg stretches and lifts. Don't sink your hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, both legs down, or both feet down. And stretch your spine, pull the abs in. Press into the mat with your arms and your toes. We got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, knees down and push back into child's pose. So your child's pose can have wide knees. You can bring your torso right down between the knees if you want. You can have your knees together. See what works for you. Hips can sway side to side. Just notice again if one side is tighter than the other. If you have any stiffness in the hips, fronts of the knees. And then if you do, just kind of be aware of that as we move through some of this stuff today. Okay, we're going to come back to center. So keep your hips down at your heels. We're going to walk our arms out front. Spread the fingers and thumbs out and then lift the chest up. So what this should feel sort of like is when we were stretching at the very beginning when we had our hands on our shins. So think again of the back lengthening on a diagonal and the chest widening and your face is raised. Just look out toward the end of your mat. Take a deep breath and fill up your chest. As you exhale, I want you to round back down over your legs. Bring your hands in. You can let your head rest on your stacked hands or bring your forehead right down to the mat. Take a deep breath, fill up your back this time. And then on the exhale, feel the belly lift away from your legs. Do that again. Now we're going to place our hands way out in front of us again. Spread out your fingers and thumbs. Lift the chest up. Okay, keep the chest lifting. We're going to transition our weight forward. Let our shoulders come at least in line with our wrists, possibly forward if that works for your wrists. And then we're just going to shift our weight back into child's pose. Keep your chest lifted through this sequence. So we need to get some work into our wrists. They do a lot of work on our keyboards and our phones. So they need to be strong. We need to stretch them. So flexible and strong. We're going to go one more. And the next time our hips are at our heels, we're going to come all the way down. So let your chest come down toward your legs again. Bend your arms and bring them in. And then let your hands lift off the mat. And we're just going to roll the wrists. You can make a fist if you want, or you can keep your hands kind of loose and then reverse direction. Just working through some movements that we kind of don't do during the day. This is a nice stretch to do when you're taking a break from your work, from your keyboards. Okay, chest stay down at the legs, walk the arms out front again. One more time, lift the chest up, and then here's our side bend. We're gonna let our right hand come off the mat and then the left. And push into the floor, push into your mat, whatever your hands are touching, and then let your hip reach away from the underarm on the left side. Lift the chest up. Come on through center. And then off to the other side. Stretching the right. Hip reaches away from the underarm, getting a nice bend. Big breath in. Chest up. Come on back to center. And then one more time into child's pose. We're going to do a short little glute sequence here. So I want you to transition your weight forward and come down onto the mat. Stack your hands and let your forehead rest on your hands. And then let your shoulders come down away from your ears. So feel the bones of your pelvis on the mat. Bring your legs together and bring them nice and long on the mat. So I'm pointing my feet. Sometimes this causes a foot cramp or a calf cramp, so you can flex if you want to, but see if you can focus on really lengthening the underside of your body. And then our left leg is going to stay where it is, and then we're going to stretch the right leg and lift it. So I want you to still feel the hip bones on the mat. And we're just stretching that leg. And now we're going to move it wide to the right back corner of our mat. We're going to tap it and then lift and bring it right back to where you started. And then take it out and tap. So as you're stretching and moving this leg, try not to tense the shoulders and the upper back. So anchor your pelvis. And 5. We're going to do 5 more. Really focus on the inner thigh when you pull that leg back to center. Keep it stretching. See if you can straighten it at the knee. I feel mine kind of bending. 2 more. Just try and keep it as long as you can. And then bring it all the way back in and then lower down. Relax your shoulders. Mine were tensing a little bit. Okay, so regroup a little bit to feel the bones of the pelvis on the mat. Your right leg stays anchored. You stretch the left, stretch it away from you, and then it'll raise. And then we move it over to the bottom left corner of the mat, and then pull back to center. Keep it hovering. Once you lift it, lift and pull in. Hips stay still. Okay, 3 more. Find that midline. Really work and lengthen the muscles of the inner thigh. Bring it back to where you started, and then place it down. Now let your foreheads come to the mat. We're going to bend our arms and pull them in along our sides. Spread your fingers out, elbows down on the mat. Lengthen your upper back and lift your face and chest up. And just get a little stretch here. And then bring your chest back down. We're going to move our hands back. Push back into child's pose for a second. Just get a stretch. So counter stretch. We were extending our backs there at the end. Now we're rounding them forward. Transition your weight forward. And then move to a seated position. So we're going to use the ball today. And we're going to put it back behind our hips with our legs nice and long. Squeeze the legs together. Okay. And then just sit up nice and tall. Arms come forward. Draw the belly in, roll back into the ball, and then roll forward. So as I come back, I'm going past my hips, maybe to about the waistband of my pants, and then coming up. I'm trying to stay curved through my spine. That C curve, reaching forward with my legs. Let's do 2 more. Curving, and then up, and curving, and up. Now, sit up tall, arms extend out front. I'm going to lean. So I'm thinking long spine instead of that curve, and then I'm going to come forward again. So as I come forward, I think of making my spine even taller to lift myself up, as if my ribs are lifting away from my hips. I'm going to do 2 more. Squeeze the legs together. Now here's a little combo. I'm going to lean first. It's like it's a hinge. Then I'm going to roll into the ball, go back, raise the arms, then lower them, round all the way up. Hinge, roll the hips under, raise, and lower, and pull in. Great, let's keep this combo going. So it's a lean, get real tall. Roll the hips into the ball, let it support you, then up go the arms, then they lower, and then we come back up. Hinge and roll. Find the lower abdominals really pulling in. Hold, lift, lower. Couple more. Hinge first. Then roll the hips into the ball, letting it support you. Arms up, arms down, and then in. Hinge, roll, raise, lower, and up. Let's go 2 more. Hinge, roll it, and up. Last one, hang on, long spine. All the way up, bring the arms down. Reach back for the ball. We're gonna put it at our thighs, bend the knees, scoot forward. All right, so now we're getting some rounding of our spines, but our arms are gonna assist, so maybe we can get back into that low back a little bit more. Anchor your feet, hold belly in, roll back. And then I want you to feel like you're pulling on your shins and your back is trying to reach back behind you, as if you're trying to touch the mat with your spine, but because we're holding on, it won't allow that. I am rounding my back, trying not to jut my head forward, and I'm gonna bring it forward and lift. Just a couple more like that. Just treat it as a nice low back stretch, but we're engaging the abdominals to allow that to happen a little bit more. So deepen the bend and roll and lift. Let's go 1 more. Pull in, rounding. Shoulders are down. And then roll forward and lift. Okay, we're gonna keep the ball at our thighs. Transition our hands to the backs of our thighs, and then start to roll down. You're gonna find a spot where you have to sort of balance a little bit. So don't take it all the way. Shoulders draw down, squeeze the ball. All right, now we're gonna raise our arms to about shoulder height, and then start to drag the feet toward you. I do not even know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try it. And see if you can raise your legs up, and we're balancing back here. Squeeze the knee. So it's sort of a modified teaser, I think. I'm very wobbly. If you can do it, great job. You might need to put your feet down. Maybe you could put 1 foot down. I don't know. It's not easy. Squeeze the ball. Hold. Now put your feet down, and we're gonna roll forward and lift. Let's try that 1 more time. Roll it back. Find a spot. Pull your abs in. So we're trying not to push the belly forward. If this is as far as you go, this is great. Same muscles. We're just challenging ourselves balance-wise. So I'm thinking, pull the belly in. Okay, so heels get light, and then the legs come up, and I'm gonna squeeze that ball. Yeah, shoulders are down, and hold. If your feet need to come down, that's all right. So this is sort of a V-sit of sorts. Let's take the feet down, hands behind the thighs, and then we're gonna roll ourselves all the way down. Let the hips roll under, and then shoulders and heads come to the mat. Slide the feet in. Anchor your feet, arms along your sides, and we're gonna roll to bridge. And just get that stretch, because that was some good hip flexor work. Keep the ball where it is, squeeze it. Let the left leg stretch out. So I'm keeping my legs parallel with each other. I'm gonna try to stabilize that ball by squeezing it. I'm pushing up, I'm squeezing my right butt, and then I'm gonna let my left toe come down and tap the mat, and then extend back out. And tap, and lift. 3 more. Keep the hips up. Place the left foot back down. Roll yourself down. And then roll back up. Squeeze the ball, press into your left foot, out goes the right leg. Okay, take a second, legs stay parallel, hips are up, squeeze the left butt, tap the right toe, and then stretch back out. Keep a squeeze on the ball. One more, with control. And then foot back down, roll yourself down. We're gonna do some chest lifts with the ball at the thighs. Your hands will come back behind your head, stack them, and let your head rest in your hands. Or if you're a lacer, bring them all the way together so the arms and hands do some work for you. Okay, then when you stretch the back of the neck, You'll lift the chest up into flexion, shoulders down. Okay, take it back, but don't rest. Tap the base of your shoulder blades and then curl forward again. So we're not releasing all those muscles back there. We're keeping them working. I'm thinking of just kind of drawing the rib cage together and down toward my hips. Supporting my head, so I'm pushing my head back into my hands. Two more, just flexing the spine. Curl and hold. Squeeze the ball and roll back down. Arms come along your sides. Let your feet lighten up and then bring your knees to tabletop. Adjust the ball if you need to. All right, a little squeeze. Think of the feet and low legs tracking in line with the knees and the hips. And then we're gonna point our feet, tap our toes, bring it back to tabletop, flex at the ankles, and then tap the heels. Don't change the bend at the knee. See if you can maintain a right angle. I hope mine are. I can't see the mirror. I'm hoping it's a right angle. And then tap. Check those shoulders, relax them, anchor your shoulder blades. Toes, and then one more heel. Come back to tabletop. Take the ball and move it between your ankles and then stretch your legs up to the ceiling and give the ball a little bit of a squeeze. Okay, a couple options for arm placement here. Your arms can be along your sides. That's going to be a little bit more challenging to keep your stability here. If you want more stability, take them a little bit wider. And as always, watch out for your equipment on the sides. All right, we're going to do corkscrews. So we're squeezing the ball. Our legs are going to move over to the left, so we feel the right hip come up. We're going to circle the ball down through center, over to the right, and then back to the middle, and then reverse. Take it over, sweep around, and come back to center. So check the stability of your upper back. Feel the shoulder blades anchored into the mat. If you kept your arms close to your sides, and you're feeling a little unstable, a couple options. You can keep your arms where they are, and make your circle smaller, or you can move your arms way out to the sides like I'm doing. And just a little through center, back to where we started, low shift, and come around. Let's do one more set. So we go side and around, back to where we started. Focus on the lower abdominals, a little sling between your hip bones, back to center. Bent to tabletop. This is an active recovery, so we're staying here. You're gonna keep a little squeeze on the ball. Take your hands back behind your head again, stack them or lace them, and then extend your legs to the ceiling. All right, give the ball a little squeeze. We're gonna lift our chest up into flexion, squeeze the ball, and start to lower your legs away and hold when you feel those abs kick in, but that when your belly is not pushing up to the ceiling. And then we're gonna raise the ball back up, keep your flexion. Lower down, find that spot again, squeeze the ball and raise. If you're having any issues with your neck, go ahead and put your head and shoulders all the way down on the mat. So when I start to fatigue with this one, I feel like my head and shoulders are going closer and closer to the mat behind me. So I'm gonna consciously try to keep my chest reaching toward the legs. This is a long lever, and we've added that ball in, so it makes it extra challenging. Let's do two more. Keep squeezing the ball. My legs are definitely shaking. I don't know about you guys. Keep the chest lifted, raise, and then lower your head and shoulders back down. We're gonna bend our knees into the chest, reach for shins, and rock it out. Let's take the ball out of there. Tuck it under your mat or put it to the side. I think we might use it later, I'm not sure. Yeah, all bets are off again. All right, so the legs are bent, feet are flat. Bring your pelvis to neutral. Nice level plane here. We're gonna do a little hip opener sequence because that thing I was really feeling that in my hips because I was squeezing the ball. So we're gonna leave our right foot on the mat and let the left knee just open out to the side a little bit. Keep your cores engaged. Slide that leg down the mat. Let it rotate so your knee, your toes face the ceiling, and then pull back in. We're gonna do 5 in each direction. As you do this, maintain the pelvic stability with your core. So you're staying zipped up through the abdominals, the front of the body. Just rotate, think of that leg kind of staying light. Let's go one more in that direction. And then reverse, slide it out. And then back. So I felt my right knee kind of swaying around a little bit. So I'm gonna concentrate a little bit more, pushing my right big toe into the mat. Good, one more. And let's just regroup here in center. Level out the pelvis if you shifted. Okay, left foot stays anchored. Right knee opens out, but we stay in neutral pelvis and then we slide the leg out and bring it back in. Focus on the extension and then the flexion at the hip. Extend when we straighten, flex when we bend. Keep the left foot anchored. And let's reverse. Stretch, rotate, bring it in. Okay, straighten both legs out, bring them together. Place your hands along your thighs. Shoulders come down. Okay, we're going for a roll up. We're gonna stretch our chins toward the chest, lifting the chest up. Use your arms, let your hips roll under. Let your hands track along your legs and then take it forward for a nice big stretch here. We're gonna keep this round shape and roll ourselves right back down. I'm still letting my hands track along my legs. Now they're moving their way closer to the hips as I lay my spine down. Let's go again. Start to bend your spine. Use your arms if you want. So if you, if you're feeling strong and you want to do the full roll up today, go ahead. Roll it back down. I'm going to let my hands continue to track along my legs because I've got a little stuck spot, so I'm working through that. When I come up and feel that, I'm consciously bending my spine a little bit more instead of keeping a straight back and just hoisting myself up. Work through the curves of your back, rolling it down and then rolling it up. Let's just do a couple more. Picture what's happening. The spine bends and then it kind of peels up off the mat, one piece at a time. And take it down. Let's go one more. So we're gonna end rounded over our legs. And then reach your arms forward. Hold on wherever your hands are, and then gently bring your face, your chest down toward the legs. And then flex your ankles so the tops of the feet come toward you. And then release where you're holding and roll up to sitting up nice and tall. Okay, we're gonna go into a single leg stretch sequence from here. So legs are out. I want you to bend your right knee and bring it in. Hold on to your right shin. Keep your left leg extending out, and then we're gonna start to round ourselves back. You'll feel your left heel kind of start to scoot toward you. Start to actively press your shin into your arms, and then you're gonna come down into flexion. Now hover the left leg, and then let's go 10 sets. Keep your flexion, 8, 7. Good, one more set. Let's get the left knee in. Stretch the right leg out. We're going to crisscross. Hands come behind the head, supporting the head. Rotate toward the left, toward the bent knee, and let's go, 10 sets. Both knees to center. Let's take head and shoulders down for a little break. Try and stay in tabletop. Chest lift, come back into flexion. Stretch both legs to the ceiling. Let the left leg come down. We're gonna do scissor crisscross. So rotate toward that right leg and then scissor twist, 10 sets. One more each leg, both legs up, and then bend your knees, heads and shoulders down, and then get a little rock. Okay, come on back to center, feet to the mat. Keep your knees and feet together, arms out wide, knees come to the floor on one side, it does not matter which one. Let your head rotate the opposite way. Faces back to center, knees through center, and then take them to the floor on the other side, and then heads go the other way. Okay, faces center and knees center. We're gonna use the red ball for one more sequence with some chest lifts, and then we're also gonna use it for our side leg. So get the red ball, put it back behind your upper back, kind of at the shoulder blade area. You can switch that later if it's not effective for the stretch I wanna do, okay? So if you're not feeling a good stretch after this one, maybe move it more down more. If you're up too close to the neck, you won't get as much flexion, or extension rather. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart. We're gonna take our hands, put them back behind our head. So we settle down into the ball. Let your weight rest into the ball. And then supporting our heads, we're coming up and over for that nice big stretch back there. Elbows are wide. Feel your rib cage expand out to the sides. Now, while you're back here, take a big inhale through your nose. As you exhale, lift your chest, curl it toward the legs. We're not looking for a big, huge lift here. Just enough to feel the muscles support you in front. And then we go back up and over for the stretch. Inhale back here. And then exhale, come back up. Let's do 2 more. Supporting your head, trying not to lead with the head, lead with the chest. And then one more time. Back for that big stretch. And then come forward, and we're gonna hold here for a second. Okay, still supporting the head. Anchor your hips. We're just gonna do a little twist to one side, come through center, go the other way. So yeah, the ball's moving a little bit as my weight shifts, but I'm trying not to lean to one side. I'm just twisting. Think of twisting my spine and not just my head. My head's coming with. Let's go one more each way. Keep the core working. We're in neutral here for most of our spines. And then let's go back. Last stretch. Flex. Okay, arms down. We're gonna reach for the ball, keep it, and put it under the rib cage, and then come to your elbow and forearm of your bottom arm. This was a request. You know who you are. You're gonna try not to drop into your shoulder. Push away. I'm gonna bend my bottom knee. I'm gonna keep my top leg straight. Okay, so here are some options, right? We can use this top hand for a little balance here. We can have it on the leg. You know, decide what you wanna do with it. But try not to sink down into the ball. It's there as a support, but also as kind of a balance challenge. Okay, core is engaged. So stretch out that top leg, and we're gonna point the top foot, and we're gonna raise that leg. See where you can go without it rotating. So literally, mine is almost not even as high as my hip, I don't think. From here, we're gonna do some circles. Circle forward and up and back. When you go back, it has to come back behind your hip, so you keep that extension. I think that's 5, 6, 7. Stay lifted up here. 8, 9, and 10. Let's reverse. Sweep it back and around for 10, 9. Press your bottom leg into the mat. Good, stay lifted. Now, if your neck is bothering you, hold the leg, hold it. I know, it's still working. You're gonna turn your head and look down at your elbow if you're feeling any neck issues. We're gonna bend our top leg, a right angle, and then that bent knee is gonna lift and lower. So you'll see, you'll be able to get a little bit higher than when it was straight. I don't know why. Just can. Abs still engaged. 8, nice job, 2 more. And 10. Keeping the knee bent, we're gonna bring it forward and move it back. Bring it forward and move it back. Not the full bicycle. Good, one more. Bring it back for the stretch, and then bring your knees together. take the ball out, work your way down to your mat. We're gonna put the ball at our ankles, stretch the legs out, hover the legs. Okay, find your balance, nice and long. Squeeze the ball, lift the legs a little bit higher, come down and hover, and stretch and lift. Three more. Keep a little squeeze on the ball if you can. Stretch to lift. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Top foot stays on the ball and rolls it to the front corner of the mat. The bottom leg lifts and reaches back. Okay, find your balance. I do tend to use my front hand for a little more balance for this one. You can press down into the ball with your top foot if you want. Okay, so the bottom leg is lifted. Stretch it back behind you and raise it, and then bring it almost all the way to the mat. And then lift again. We're gonna do 10. Don't rush through. See if you can feel that you're staying straight at the knee. Now keep that back leg hovering, and you're gonna do tiny circles in each direction. 10, 9, don't let it touch the floor. 8, 7, keep it stretching. 6, 4, one more, and reverse. Little ones, like dinner plate size. And one more. Okay, let that leg come all the way down to the mat. Roll the ball in. We're gonna keep the ball kind of at our, like mid-chest, rib cage area. And then put your hand on the ball. Press your bottom leg down, and our top leg is gonna lift, flex, and lower. Lift, flex the ankle, lower. Hand is light on the ball if you can. I wasn't. Awesome, and then one more. Okay, bring that leg all the way down. Bend your knees. We're gonna do a quick roll onto our backs. You can just keep holding the ball. Cross your left ankle, or your top the top working leg. The working leg. And then let the knee open up. Just get that nice big stretch. We're gonna let our foot, the crossed ankle, come to the floor. So it's gonna come across the body. You get a little bit of twist in your spine. This is mostly for the hip. And then bring it back to center. And uncross the legs. All right, guys, other side. So I'm laying on my left, gonna lay on my left side now. And the ball is gonna come in at the rib cage. My elbow is underneath my shoulder. Bend the bottom leg, stretch out the top, stack your hips. Okay, so we're not collapsing, we're lifting, we're using the ball, but we're also using our core, right? Stability. Press down, take that leg to about hip height. Okay, ribs are in, shoulders are down. Stretch it out, and then circle. 10, 9, 8, stay long. And let's reverse, come forward. 10, keep it stretchy. 9, 8, 7, don't collapse down into the ball. Keep the leg up. Now we're gonna bend at the knee, and then we're gonna lift and lower, and lift and lower. Okay, keep that knee at hip height. We're gonna move it back, and then we're gonna bring it forward, and back and forward. When it comes behind you, feel the glutes squeeze. You'll feel your hammies too, because the knee is bent, so we're contracting them already. Let's go 2 more. I think that's what my sequence was. Could be completely different from the first leg, who knows? Okay, the leg is coming down. We're gonna take the ball and work our way down to the mat. Put the ball at your ankles, stretch the legs out. Stack your hips, find your balance. Again, using that top front arm, front hand. Stretch the legs and lift. Find your balance, squeeze, 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 lift a little higher. Come down toward the mat. Don't collapse onto the mat. Stretch and lift. Two more. Keep a squeeze. Take it up and bring both legs down. Roll the ball a little forward. Put your foot on the ball. Take your bottom leg, slide it back, and then stretch and lift. The top foot can press into the ball. The bottom leg is back a little more. Lift it a little higher, and that's our starting spot. Then we lower and raise for 10. Keep it stretching. Staying straight at the knee if you can. 6, 5, abs pull in. Lift and hold. Now move the leg back behind you a little bit more, and then here are our circles, dinner plate size, 10 in each direction. Keep it stretching. 5. One more, and then let's reverse. 10, 9. My circles are definitely not circles. 3 more, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, let the leg come down. We're gonna roll the ball in, place it in front of your rib cage, stretch your legs out, stack your hips, press your bottom leg down, point your top foot, and raise. Okay, find your balance here. Bigger range of motion now that we've taken it all the way to the floor. Hand is light on the ball if you can. Flex your ankle, come down, and lift, and lower. Two more. Last one. Bring it all the way down. Okay, back onto our backs we go. Bend the knees. You can just hang on to the ball. Actually, you can just get rid of the ball. I think we're done. I think. Cross your right ankle or the ankle of the working leg over the other thigh. Arms at our sides. Shoulders down. See if you can get your pelvis into neutral. That's gonna deepen that stretch in the hip. And then let's let our legs travel across and bring your foot to the floor if you can get it there. Yes, you feel your shoulder blade on the opposite side raise up, that's okay. Bring the legs back to the center, and then let's just bring both knees up to our chest for a second. Stretch it out, get a little rock. Okay, leave the knees in at your chest. Take your hands back behind your head. Elbows go wide. We're gonna do one more little ab sequence. So chins come toward the chest. We're gonna keep our legs pulling in so they're in past tabletop. Lift the chest up. Okay, get your spine anchored. Let your knees travel to tabletop. So as you do that, you feel your pelvis come into neutral. We're gonna do a set of reciprocal toe taps, keeping our flexion, pointing our feet. We're gonna let our left toe come down, and then as the left raises, the right comes down. Keep your chest reaching toward the legs. 3. When the left toe is down and the right leg is up, we're gonna pause. We're gonna rotate toward the right, and we're gonna add in a crisscross with the same move, same pace. Tap and tap. 2 and 3, we're gonna do 10. Option to have head and shoulders all the way down on the mat. And 7. Twist your rib cage, not just your head. 9. One more each leg. Bring your knees in, take your heads and shoulders down. And side rock. Okay, feet to the mat. And we're gonna roll over onto our bellies from here. Bring your forehead to the mat. Bend your arms along your sides. Elbows pull into your body and reach down. Stretch your legs out. So we're gonna do a chest lift from here, tapping into the upper back. Widen your collarbones. Just hold here for a minute. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll it back down. We're gonna do that once more. You can stick with that stretch, or as you hit your end range, you can start to press into your hands and then take it up. But your chest is leading. It's not a push-up. Reach into that stretch. And then take the elbows and rib cage, and then chests and foreheads down. Pull your legs together. Move your hands back. We're gonna push back into child's pose. Stretching. So an active stretch, your hips reach toward the heels. Shift your weight forward to hands and knees. Place your hands under the shoulders. Separate your knees, place them under the hips. Lift your feet up and then flex the ankles. Wiggle your toes a little bit and then tuck them under. And before we go into down dog to get ourselves up off the mat, I want you to focus on the stretch that's underneath the foot and the ankles. You feel the ankles, you feel the Achilles. Achilles is. Press into your fingertips and your thumbs and your toes and hover your knees. Just pause here. Okay, so this is sort of plankish, right? Cores are pulled in. Start to shift your weight back. Think of your butt coming toward the heels and then straighten the legs and feel your chest reach toward your thighs and feel your heels reach down to the mat. Pressing into the mat, let your head be heavy. Maybe look back at your thighs. Press your thighs away from you. Let's raise the tippy toes and then come back down. Let's go again. Lift and come back down. We're gonna walk our feet to our hands. So we walk in. It's okay if your knees are bent. Just find a spot where you feel balanced. And then we're gonna lighten up our hands. Lift the belly around the back and roll yourself up. Let your arms come out to the sides and up. Add an upper back extension. Back to center. Bring the arms down and then reset the shoulders. Thanks guys for coming, checking in today. I hope you had a good class and I will see you next week.